every single morning when you wake up and look in the mirror, there's a battle happening inside your body that you can't see. Your cells are either breaking down faster than they should, pushing you toward disease and decline, or they're rebuilding, repairing, protecting you from the inside out. And what determines which path your body takes? It's not your genes like most people think. Medical research has shown that only about 20 to 30% of how long you live comes from your DNA. The other 70 to 80%, that's completely within your control, and it all comes down to what you're putting on your plate every single day. I know what you're thinking. You've heard 1,000 times about eating healthy, about superfoods and miracle diets, and maybe you've even tried some of them. But here's what makes this different. What I'm about to share with you isn't coming from some fad diet book or the latest Instagram trend. This comes from decades of research studying real people who've actually done it, who've lived to see their 100th birthday and beyond, still walking, still sharp, still enjoying life. These aren't special people with special genes. They're regular folks who figured out something most of us have gotten completely wrong. And the surprising part, the foods that'll help you live to 100 aren't exotic or expensive. You can find them at any grocery store, and some of them might shock you because they're nothing like what most health experts have been telling you to eat. Before we dive in, do me a favor, hit that like button and drop your age in the comments. I want to know who's watching and learning this information, because trust me, whether you're 55 or 85, it's never too late to make changes that'll add years to your life and life to your years. Now let me paint you a picture. There are 5 places scattered around the world where something extraordinary happens. Scientists call them blue zones. In these regions, people don't just live longer, they live better. We're talking about places like Okinawa in Japan, Sardinia in Italy, Nicoya in Costa Rica, Ikaria in Greece, and yes, even Loma Linda right here in California. In these blue zones, living to 100 isn't rare or unusual. It's normal. And here's the kicker. When researchers spent years studying these centenarians, tracking what they ate, how they lived, they discovered that 95 to 100% of their diet comes from plants. But it's not just any plants, and it's not about becoming a strict vegan overnight. It's about understanding which specific foods do what inside your aging body and how to make them work for you starting today. Let me tell you about someone who proves this works. There was a man in Arizona, and when researchers interviewed him, he'd just turned 110 years old. 110, and he wasn't in some nursing home hooked up to machines. He was walking around, talking, laughing, sharp as a tack. When they asked him his secret, he didn't give them some complicated answer about supplements or exercise routines. He said his father told him decades ago to eat 5 simple foods every single day, and he'd listened. Those 5 foods: cinnamon, chocolate, honey, olive oil, and garlic. Simple things that most people have sitting in their pantry right now, collecting dust, but this man ate them every day for decades, and they quite literally added years and years to his life. And he's not alone. Over in Japan, there's a 92-year-old fitness instructor still teaching classes, still moving like someone 30 years younger. Her secret? She eats specific Japanese foods at every single meal, foods that protect her cells from aging, that keep her muscles strong, that keep her brain sharp. When people ask her how she does it, she just smiles and says it's not about willpower or deprivation. It's about knowing what your body needs as you age and giving it exactly that. Now here's where things get really interesting, and this is the part most people don't realize. After you hit 50, your body goes through changes that completely alter what you need to eat. Your metabolism slows down. Sure, everybody knows that. But what they don't tell you is that your body also starts absorbing nutrients differently. Your stomach produces less acid, which means you're not getting as much nutrition from the same foods you ate when you were younger. Your bones start losing calcium faster. Your muscles begin breaking down unless you actively protect them. Your brain needs different fuel to stay sharp. Inflammation starts building up in your joints, your arteries, everywhere. And here's the devastating part. Most people keep eating the same way they always have, wondering why they feel worse and worse as the years go by, not realizing their body is literally starving for the right nutrients. But What if I told you there are specific foods you can start eating today that directly combat every single one of these aging processes? Foods that strengthen your bones, protect your heart, keep your brain sharp, reduce inflammation, maintain your muscle mass, and yes, even help you look younger. These aren't miracle foods advertised on late-night TV. These are simple whole foods that people in blue zones have been eating for generations, foods that medical research has now proven work at the cellular level to slow down aging. Coming in at number 6 on our countdown, and trust me, we're building up to something powerful here, we have leafy greens. Now I know, you've heard about eating your vegetables since you were 5 years old. But stay with me, because what leafy greens do inside your body after 50 is something most people don't understand. Think of your cells like houses. As you age, they get damaged, their walls get weak, their roofs start leaking. Leafy greens like spinach, kale, collards, chard, they're like a construction crew that comes in and repairs all that damage. They're loaded with something called carotenoids. What this really means is they contain powerful compounds that protect your eyes from going bad, that keep your skin from wrinkling, that shield your cells from the kind of damage that leads to cancer and heart disease. But here's the specific way this matters for you. After 60, one of the biggest fears people have is losing their vision, not being able to see their grandkids' faces clearly, not being able to read, not being able to drive. Medical research has found that people who eat leafy greens daily have significantly lower rates of age-related eye problems. One woman shared how she'd started noticing her vision getting blurry in her early 60s, that classic age-related decline everyone just accepts. Her doctor told her it would only get worse, but then she started eating a big salad with dark leafy greens every single day for lunch. Not a tiny side salad, a real meal-sized portion. Within 6 months, her next eye exam showed her vision had actually stabilized. Her eye doctor couldn't believe it. She's now 68 and can still read without glasses most of the time, something almost nobody her age can say. Number 5 might surprise you because it's something a lot of people actually avoid, thinking it'll make them gain weight. I'm talking about nuts, almonds, walnuts, pistachios, cashews. Here's what happens. In every single blue zone, centenarians eat nuts every day. Not a whole bag, about a handful, maybe 2 ounces. Think of nuts as premium fuel for your brain. As you age, your brain starts shrinking slightly. Connections between brain cells start weakening, and this is what leads to memory problems, slower thinking, that fog people complain about. Nuts contain healthy fats that literally feed your brain, keeping those connections strong. But as helpful as this is, they also do something even more important for your heart. After 50, your biggest health risk isn't cancer like most people think. It's heart disease. Your arteries naturally start getting stiffer, narrower, more prone to clots. Studies have shown that people who eat nuts 5 times a week have about 40% lower risk of dying from heart disease. 40%, that's enormous. One man told how he'd had high cholesterol for years, was on medication, the whole thing. His doctor kept warning him about heart attacks. At 62, he started eating a handful of walnuts every afternoon as a snack. Not changing anything else in his diet at first, just adding the walnuts. His next blood test 3 months later showed his bad cholesterol had dropped significantly. His good cholesterol went up. His doctor actually asked him what drug he'd started taking, couldn't believe it was just walnuts. Moving to number 4, and this is where things start getting really powerful. We need to talk about beans. I know beans don't sound exciting, they're not trendy or glamorous, but here's something that'll change how you think about them. In every blue zone around the world, in every single one, beans are the foundation of the diet. Not just included occasionally, the foundation. We're talking black beans in Costa Rica, lentils in the Mediterranean, chickpeas in the Middle East, soybeans in Okinawa. Medical research has found that eating just half a cup of beans daily, that's barely a handful, is associated with living longer. Here's the mechanism. Beans are packed with fibre, and I don't mean the kind that just helps you go to the bathroom, though they do that too. I mean the kind of fibre that feeds the good bacteria in your gut. Think of your gut like a garden. After 50, especially if you've taken antibiotics over the years or eaten a lot of processed food, your gut garden gets overrun with weeds, bad bacteria that cause inflammation throughout your whole body. That inflammation is what leads to diabetes, heart disease, arthritis, even Alzheimer's. Beans feed the good bacteria, the flowers in your garden, helping them crowd out the weeds. Within 3 to 6 months of eating beans regularly, most people notice their digestion improves. Yes, but they also notice less joint pain, more energy, better sleep, clearer thinking, all because they're feeding their gut what it needs. One woman shared her story in an online health community, and it stuck with me. She was 67, had type 2 diabetes, was overweight, felt terrible every day, exhausted all the time. Her doctor kept adding more medications. She started replacing one meal a day with beans and vegetables, something simple like black bean soup or lentil stew. Not starving herself, eating until she felt satisfied. The beans kept her full for hours, so she naturally stopped snacking on junk. Within 8 months, she'd lost 30 pounds without really trying. Her blood sugar dropped so much, her doctor cut her diabetes medication in half, and she had energy like she hadn't felt in 20 years. She's now 71 and walks 3 miles every morning, something she could never have imagined at 67. Now we're at number 3, and this might shock you. It's sweet potatoes. Here's what most people don't know. In Okinawa, the Japanese island with more centenarians than almost anywhere on Earth, the traditional diet wasn't based on rice or fish like most people assume. It was based on sweet potatoes. Sweet potatoes were 67% of their diet. Think about that. These people eating sweet potatoes as their main food, living to 100 and beyond in incredible health. Here's why this matters for you. Sweet potatoes are what nutritionists call nutrient-dense, which means they pack an enormous amount of vitamins and minerals into relatively few calories. After 60, you need fewer calories than you did when you were younger because your metabolism slows down. But you actually need more vitamins and minerals because your body doesn't absorb them as well anymore. This creates a problem. If you keep eating the same amount of food but your metabolism slowed down, you gain weight. But if you eat less food to avoid gaining weight, you don't get enough nutrients and your health declines. Sweet potatoes solve this puzzle. They're filling and satisfying, loaded with fiber, so they keep you full for hours, but they're relatively low in calories. More importantly, they're absolutely packed with beta-carotene, which your body converts to vitamin A, critical for your immune system, your vision, your skin. Medical research has shown that people who eat sweet potatoes or other orange vegetables regularly have stronger immune systems, meaning they get sick less often, recover faster when they do get sick. After 70, a bad flu or pneumonia can be devastating, even deadly. But people who eat sweet potatoes multiple times a week tend to shake off infections that would hospitalize their peers. One couple shared how they'd started having baked sweet potatoes for dinner 3 or 4 times a week, just seasoning them with olive oil and cinnamon, keeping it simple. Both of them were in their mid-70s. That winter, their entire extended family got a nasty flu that was going around. Everyone except them. While their kids and grandkids were all laid up sick, they felt fine, just kept going about their lives. Their family couldn't believe it. They credited the sweet potatoes and the other changes they'd made. Coming in at number 2, and we're getting close to the big one now, is extra virgin olive oil. Here's what makes olive oil special, and I'm talking about real extra virgin olive oil, not the processed stuff. In the Mediterranean Blue Zone, in places like Sardinia and Icaria, people don't just drizzle a little olive oil on their salad. They use it liberally, generously, multiple tablespoons a day. And these are people living to 100 with sharp minds, strong hearts, flexible joints. Here's the science, explained simply. As you age, your inflammation builds up in your body like rust building up on metal. This chronic low-level inflammation is now recognized as a major driver of almost every age-related disease. Heart disease, Alzheimer's, cancer, arthritis, diabetes, all of them involve inflammation. Olive oil contains compounds, think of them as anti-rust treatments for your body, that actively reduce this inflammation. But here's the part that really matters. Your brain is 60% fat. For your brain to function properly, to maintain memories, to think clearly, to avoid dementia, it needs high-quality fats. Olive oil provides exactly the type of fat your brain needs. Studies have found that people who consume olive oil daily, we're talking 3 or 4 tablespoons, not a tiny bit, have significantly lower rates of cognitive decline. Their memories stay sharper longer. One man told a story that really drove this home. His father had developed dementia in his early 80s, forgot his own children's names, the whole heartbreaking progression. This man, now in his late 60s, was terrified it would happen to him too. He started using olive oil on everything, dipping his bread in it, cooking all his vegetables in it, putting it on his salads. Real olive oil, the good stuff. His doctor had told him his memory was starting to slip in his mid-60s, early warning signs. But after 2 years of eating olive oil daily, combined with the other foods we're talking about, his memory actually improved. He's now 74 and sharper than some 50-year-olds. Remembers names, dates, details that people half his age forget. He tells everyone it's the olive oil and the overall diet change that saved his brain. And now we've arrived at number 1. This is it. This is the foundation everything else builds on. The one food group that matters more than any other if you want to live to 100. Are you ready? It's not what most people expect. Number 1 is whole grains. Real whole grains, not white bread, not white pasta, not the processed refined grains that most Americans eat. I'm talking about actual whole grains like oats, barley, quinoa, brown rice, whole wheat. Here's why this is number 1, why this is the game changer. In every single blue zone, whole grains are a major part of the daily diet, and medical research has now shown exactly why. Whole grains provide steady, sustained energy without spiking your blood sugar. Think of it like this. When you eat white bread or white rice, it hits your bloodstream like a flood. Your blood sugar spikes way up, then crashes way down, leaving you tired and hungry again in an hour or 2. This roller coaster damages your body over time, leading to diabetes, weight gain, inflammation, all the things that age you fast. Whole grains release energy slowly and steadily like a gentle stream instead of a flood. Your blood sugar stays stable, your energy stays consistent, you feel satisfied for hours. But here's the deeper reason this is number 1. Whole grains feed your gut bacteria the right food. And we're back to that gut garden again because it's that important. Your gut bacteria, when they're healthy and balanced, produce compounds that reduce inflammation throughout your entire body, that support your immune system, that even produce neurotransmitters that affect your mood and mental clarity. Refined grains, the processed stuff, feed the bad bacteria. Whole grains feed the good bacteria. Over months and years, this makes an absolutely massive difference in how you age. Studies have found that people who eat 3 servings of whole grains daily, that's not as much as you think, maybe a bowl of oatmeal for breakfast, a whole grain sandwich for lunch, and some brown rice with dinner. These people have 30 to 40% lower risk of type 2 diabetes, 20 to 30% lower risk of heart disease, and significantly lower rates of colon cancer. One woman shared her transformation, and it was remarkable. She was 73, had been overweight her entire adult life, tried every diet imaginable, nothing worked long term. She had diabetes, high blood pressure, arthritis in her knees, could barely walk without pain. Her doctor told her she'd probably need knee replacements within a few years. She made one major change. She switched all her refined grains to whole grains. Instead of white rice, brown rice. Instead of white pasta, whole wheat pasta. Instead of regular cereal, steel-cut oats. That was it. She didn't even cut calories at first, just switched the type of grains. Within 3 months, her blood sugar started dropping. Within 6 months, she'd lost 15 pounds without trying, just because the whole grains kept her full and satisfied, so she naturally ate less. Within a year, her blood pressure normalized, her doctor cut her medications, and here's the incredible part. The pain in her knees was 90% gone. She never needed those knee replacements. She's now 77, walks 2 miles every day, something she couldn't have imagined possible at 73. She says switching to whole grains was the single most important decision she ever made for her health. Now here's the thing, you might be looking at this list thinking, okay, that's great, but how do I actually do this? How do I eat all these foods every day? And I get it, it can feel overwhelming, but here's the truth that people in blue zones understand. They don't obsess over every meal, they don't follow complicated rules, they don't weigh their food or count calories. They just eat these foods every day in simple, delicious ways because that's their normal diet. And that's what you need to do too. Make it normal, make it simple, make it delicious. Start with breakfast. Instead of cereal or toast, try steel-cut oats topped with berries and a handful of walnuts, drizzled with a tiny bit of honey. That right there gives you whole grains, berries which are packed with antioxidants, and nuts, all before you even leave the house. For lunch, make a big salad with dark leafy greens, throw in some chickpeas or black beans for protein and fibre, add some cherry tomatoes, red onions and dress it with olive oil and lemon juice. That's leafy greens, beans and olive oil all in one meal. For dinner, roast a sweet potato, steam some broccoli or other vegetables. Maybe have a small piece of fish if you eat fish, but make the sweet potato and vegetables the star of your plate, not the afterthought. Drizzle everything with more olive oil, add some garlic for flavour. You don't have to be perfect. You don't have to eat all 6 of these foods every single day, though people in blue zones often do. But if you can get most of them most days, you're already way ahead of 90% of people your age. And here's what you'll notice, and this is what keeps people going once they start. You'll notice changes within weeks. Your energy improves. You don't get that afternoon crash anymore. Your digestion gets better, less bloating, more regular. Your sleep improves. You wake up feeling more refreshed. Within a few months, you start noticing bigger changes. Aches and pains you thought were just part of getting old start fading. Your mind feels clearer, sharper. You have more stamina to do the things you enjoy. Your skin looks better. Blood tests come back improved. Your doctor is impressed. And within a year or 2, you're living proof that age is just a number, that how you feel and function has way more to do with how you eat than how many birthdays you've had. You're doing things people your age say they can't do anymore. You're keeping up with your grandkids. You're traveling, gardening, dancing, working, volunteering, whatever brings you joy, and you're doing it with energy and vitality. Because here's the final truth I want you to understand. You deserve this. You deserve to feel good at any age. You've worked hard your whole life, raised families, built careers, contributed to your communities. These should be your golden years, the time when you finally get to enjoy everything you've worked for. Don't let anyone tell you that feeling tired, achy, foggy, sick is just part of getting old and you have to accept it. That's not true. The people in blue zones prove it's not true. They're in their 90s and 100s, still active, still engaged, still enjoying life. And the foundation of everything they do is what they eat. So start today. Go to your kitchen right now or the next time you're at the grocery store and stock up on these 6 foods. Leafy greens, nuts, beans, sweet potatoes, olive oil and whole grains. Start simple, maybe just 1 meal a day that includes several of them. Then build from there. Give it 3 months, 6 months, and watch what happens. Your body knows what to do with these foods. It's been designed over millions of years to thrive on them. You're just giving it what it's been asking for all along. If this information helped you, hit that like button, share this with other people in your life who might be struggling with their health, and drop a comment letting me know which of these 6 foods you're going to start with. I read every single comment, and I love hearing your stories. And subscribe if you haven't already, because I'm going to keep sharing information like this, real practical knowledge that can actually change your life, not just theories or trends, but stuff that works. Your best years aren't behind you. With the right foods fueling your body, they're still ahead. Now go make it happen.